Welcome back to Movement Monday. Today we're going to talk about an open step. It happens all over the court. You see a post player opening up a score. You see a perimeter player opening up their hips to hit a gap. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about lateral movement. A couple things we think are important. The first one is putting your body in a position of power. To us, that means your ankles, your knees, and your hips are loaded and ready to go. You're on the power pads of your foot. You can move any direction from this position. The second one is leverage. If you follow us on Instagram or Twitter, you see we post a lot on using your body effectively, mastering movement, mastering mechanics. Now, any direction you want to move, you have to push down and away. If you want to move laterally, you're going to push down and away. If you want to move forward, you have to push down and away. So we want to really emphasize those two key points. First one is put yourself in a position of power. The second one is use leverage to maximize movement.
So one of the issues people have with their hip, which is going to limit your ability to perform a drop step or any sort of rotation movement through your low back and hip, is what's called hip impingement. So you have your ilium, which is your pelvis, you have your femur, which is your thigh bone. And commonly when you flex or open up that hip, you get what's called impingement, where that bone of the femur, or the head of the femur, is rubbing against the acetabulum, or the socket of the hip. That happens because of a lot of things, but the main reason why that happens is because of issues in your low back and hip from sitting for a while, be it at school or at a desk or whatnot. You develop just stiffness in different joints. When you get into positions such as like a deep squat, you'll commonly hear, oh, it pinches in the front of my hip. And there's a couple stretches that we can do that will help loosen that up so you can get into that position without any issues. And there's also some good strength stuff you can do that promotes that mobility so then you can perform these basketball movements without any pain. Stretch 2, to work on opening that hip or doing external rotation, you can get into what's called a half kneel position. You can do a lot of chops and lift and different strength training here. But what you're doing, if this is my involved hip, if I bring this out, I'm externally rotating that hip, or I'm opening that hip capsule, which is going to be tight and restricted. From there, then I can do active pumps or kind of drive into that stretch. So I can work kind of the ab and adduction of my hip, again opening that capsule. I can change the degree of the stretch and even add more external rotation. If you like, you can get a little bit of core involved, get drivers of your arm, add rotations in different planes of motion. Again, the goal is the hip, but your body works as one unit. It's not like the hip works by itself. If you're catching a ball in the post or you're doing any sort of dribbling move, you're kind of adding a torsion or a rotation to it. So adding those to your stretch is beneficial. Doing 10 to 20 pumps there should loosen that up. Again, do the stretch, retest your squat. That pinch should get better and you should be able to get deeper.
That's going to do it for today. If you have any questions, hit us up on Twitter or Instagram. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.